Hey guys, it's just Tom here. Just doing a big, quick update video on not really the state of the channel, but more have to do with E3, especially since it just happened this week or so. Who knows? Might be whenever the video comes out. This one's gonna be like very unprofessional, no theatrics or anything. Nothing crazy. Just, you know, probably gonna be me here talking about the games that I thought were the most interesting. The top 10 games that I thought were most interesting. Of course, this list doesn't necessarily mean it's the best games to come out or whatever. Just the games that I thought were the most interesting to come out of E3. I'm just gonna do this very casually and, you know, just go on with it. It won't be, hopefully it won't be as long as my first E3 video, which I did just about a year ago. So if you haven't seen that one, well, you don't really have to look at it because it's not really relevant. But anyways, we're just gonna get on with this video and we'll just load it up. Coming in at number 10 for this video is a game called Cuphead. Cuphead's a game developed by Studio Moldenhauer? Moldenhauer? That's like MDHR. That's usually what they call themselves by. But it's made by two guys, I think, in Canada, I want to say. In Saskatchewan, maybe? I don't know. Could be nonsense, could be fallacious. You know, just check it out for yourself. But one thing I really like about this game, and immediately caught my eye the day it was, you know, revealed, was the aesthetic. And the aesthetic of Cuphead is basically based on like 1930s animation, you know, like old Merry Melodies cartoons and stuff like that. And if you know me, you know that I'm absolutely a fan of hand-drawn animation, and it just caught my eye. Kind of reminds me a lot of Skullgirls, where like the animation and the gameplay seems to like flow seamlessly with each other. Yeah, and it's got a release date this year. Don't honestly know. I think it's in September. If I have to take a guess, I don't remember at the end of the video. But yeah, goes to show it's just a pretty casual, just kind of update video they want to make. Yeah, that's about it. It looks really good. I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's not going to be on too many systems. It'll probably only be on Xbox One or Xbox One X. So if you want, you can go to the store, ask for one Xbox One X box to hook up to your room so you can play Xbox One X and play some Cuphead. Coming in here at number 8 is a game called Blasphemous. Blasphemous is developed by a team out of Seville in Spain. And they're the same guys who developed The Last Door, if anybody played it, which was a decent game. I quite enjoyed it myself. Currently, right now, it's just in Kickstarter, and I'm not even sure if E3 video came out for it, but it came out pretty close to E3. Basically, in this game, it's a side-scroller, like, you know, not sure if it's like a Metroidvania game where you have a big overworld map you gotta go through, or if it's just more linear. But you play basically. It's a guy named the Penitent One. Yeah, the Penitent One. Yeah, he's got this big like cone head and everything. Not that type of cone head. Where yeah, they had these big, almost like a KKK-esque like cone or like masks or whatever, and they just like whip themselves in the back. It's really nice that a lot of the history of the area, especially from Seville, which is where the developers are from, get to pop out in a more fantastical but still goopy and grotesque ways. And kind of like Cuphead, this is another one where a lot of my interest in it comes from the aesthetic of it. I'm a very, visual and like thematic sort of guy, so I really like the look of that game, and it's just gonna be gruesome, it's gonna be brutal, and if anything, it's gonna be righteous.
Ты спеши ко мне. Если я вдали, если трудно мне, если я в самом страшном сне, если тень беды в моем окне.
Coming in at number 8, the real 8, if I said 8 in my previous one, is it's not even a game. It's actually a mod for New Vegas that's called Fallout: The Frontier. Fallout: The Frontier basically takes place in Oregon and Portland, I believe, and it has you have NCR and you have Legion guys, and they're pitting against each other in the cold, desolate wastes of Oregon. I think it's a really interesting mod. It seems to be really, really far in development. I'm not sure if there's much more to do, how much more there is, but it really, really caught my eye a few years ago, and it just looks amazing. It looks fantastic. It looks honestly more like a Fallout game than Fallout 4 will ever be, or its expansions, or its persistence on being more, I don't know, really dumb and campy and goofy, and just, like, being too on the nose with, like, human rights and stuff like that. And robots have feelings, too. But hopefully the Fallout: The Frontier will release sometime soon, and then we'll all be able to enjoy it. Yeah, can't really say much. It just, god damn it, looks really good. Looks really interesting. If you love the more Western Coast, like, New California Republic and Caesar's Legion out of New Vegas, and what would have been the original Fallout 3, I'd probably keep an eye on this, especially if you got a PC. If you don't, sorry guys. I guess it's just a mod, or a total conversion mod is what we would call it. But anyway, yeah, that's just about it. So keep your eye on Fallout: The Frontier.
curious to know, does the color of the sky matter to you?
The Kingdom of Eruzia declared war on the Osean Federation.
Osea launched a major attack against the capital region, striking Farbati from their aircraft carrier and the Kestrel II warship.
HQ, are there any drones? Verify.
The Erusian Air Force has occupied the international space.
Coming in at number 7 is Ace Combat. Well, 7. Funny how that worked out. Yeah, Ace Combat 7 is the latest iteration in the Ace Combat series. It takes place in the Strange Real universe, so people that don't know about Ace Combat, there's usually can go two ways, but most of the time it goes with the world that's called Strange Real, apart from our normal world, which I think Ace Combat Assault Horizon took place in a normal world. But Ace Combat and the Strange Real world is basically just, it's a lot of like countries that have very similarities to us. Like, you know, there's a country called Yuktubania, which used to be like the Soviets, and you know, Osea is like the characters you're gonna play in this game are part of the Osean Federation, which is like basically like the U.S. This time around, it's more advanced. There's more advanced technology. There seems to be like actual direct energy weapons, more drone sort of stuff. I believe this time around you're fighting. Yeah, it's the Kingdom of Eruzia, which I guess must have reformed into a kingdom sometime. I don't know when. But this might probably sound like a lot of gibberish. Ace Combat's, it's a pretty neat series. It's got lots of really fun gameplay and some really neat and interesting stories if you take the time to go play through them. If I recommend anything, probably start at 3, because the first 2 Ace Combats really don't do anything. Ace Combat 3 and like 3 through 6, and I guess now 7, they take place in this Strange Real universe. Anything that has maybe like a kind of like some weird like suffix or whatever, like Assault Horizon or whatever, it probably takes place in the real world, but you don't know. Definitely play Ace Combat 0, like the Balkan Wars, because that's my favorite one there. But the thing that really caught my eye at the end of this E3 video was just a little thing, and you'll notice it just there, and it says like all the consoles that are coming out, and it's like, you know, like PS4, PSVR, Xbox One, and Steam, and I was like, oh my god, this thing's finally coming to PC. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, just absolutely great. It's really neat. Nice to see a lot of these Japanese games are coming over to PC. So, yeah, if you like dogfighting and a whole bunch of other cool jets and stuff and melodrama, definitely be on the lookout for Ace Combat 7.
This is Princess Rosa Cosette Delise. Osea attacks indiscriminately and has remorsefully injured countless innocent civilians.
It's hard to say which side first pulled the trigger that plunged us into this chaos. At this point, who cares? All that remained was chaos and confusion.
I wonder which path you would choose. Burn Osea to the ground.
Trigger, engage. I managed to catch a glimpse of the 3 strikes. I have visual. Arsenal burn confirmed. Engage at will. UAVs won't hesitate to kill. No way I'm dying out here. Don't worry. Stick with Trigger. You'll make it. Oh, really? All aircraft caution. Bogies. Not for sure until I tested them myself.
Coming in at number 6 is the game that we should have gotten around the first time, but I'm glad we're getting it the second time. Star Wars Battlefront 2. No, not that Battlefront 2. Basically, the new Battlefront developed by DICE and DICE from EA, Motive, and I think Criterion as well, because I think Motive's doing the campaign, and Criterion's doing all the, excuse me, doing all of the space combat. But basically, this game logs that it's going to have 3 times the content. It's going to have, prequel era, thank God. It's going to have Galactic Civil War, and it's going to have the sequel era, which is like the First Order Resistance War, whatever it's called. Yeah, that's really kind of what I really wanted from the first one. Like, this one's got a campaign, a full-fledged one that looks really interesting. Space combat. No Galactic Conquest, which I wish it's in there. I don't think it's going to be in there. It might be DLC. Whatever the hell. But, at least we're getting this. Oh, love the fact that the clones are voiced by D. Bradley Baker and the droids have their, Star Wars The Clone Wars voices. Seems to be, where I'm at. Some people are probably going to be like, it's EA. You better watch out. And, they're true. Because, this time around, they're saying, you know what, guys? It seems like the season pass format just doesn't work out. And honestly, I think so. I think it just fractures the player base, and it's nice to see that they're going away with that, and all post-launch content is going to be free. There's going to be microtransactions. I'm not sure how they're going to work out. If they're mostly just cosmetics and stuff, then I'm fine. If it becomes play to win, I think that's going to be kind of gruesome, and I don't want to see that, but it's EA, so keep on your toes. But, if you absolutely love Star Wars, and really this is the only big AAA game you're going to get out of them, because they still haven't showed anything for Visceral. So, yeah, just be on the lookout for Star Wars Battlefront 2, and then, of course, The Last Jedi. But that's a movie.
All wings. We're coming up on the Star Destroyer, but we need to clear that escort. Let's give him everything we got.
Here are next assignments. They are unusual.
Grab onto something!
I'm trying.
Wunderbar soldier who ever lived.
Power of Thunder.
Welcome back to round 3. Now is where it gets really exciting on America's #1 game show. Okay, hands on your buzzers. Here we go.
The Honorable, you must exercise self-control.
Just illegal.
Dark as shame, darling, dark as shame. Thank you for all the joy and pain.
Alrighty, now at number 5, we're kind of getting to the last, the top 5, the most prolific things that I saw at E3, and the ones that really catch my eye. And to start off with number 5, we're gonna go with Machine Games' Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, which is kind of a weird title, but so be it, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, which I'll probably just go on and say The New Colossus. New game from Machine Games, published by Bethesda. Came at their Bethesda conference, which is kind of odd because, the first time they had a conference, they had a lot of stuff to show off, but, it seems like every year they really only have 2 big announcements and just, DLC and crap. So, yeah, number 5 is going to be kind of, let me just talk about, the Bethesda E3 thing, and then I'll get on with it. Yeah, didn't really enjoy their conference. It was just a whole lot of, hey guys, you like Skyrim? You want to play it again? You want to buy it again? Buy this game again. Or hey guys, you like Fallout 4? I know you guys like Fallout 4. You love Fallout 4, don't you? You little dirty girl. Yeah, you just love some damn Fallout. So yeah, you like your Fallout? Well, you can buy it again. In VR this time. So, with Skyrim, we've been so long, and a new game is definitely warranted. We need a new Elder Scrolls. But, you know, when you could just re-release Skyrim for, I think, the 5th time now with Skyrim VR and Nintendo Switch. And, yeah, with Fallout, it's gonna be brutal. Come on, guys. But, anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Wolfenstein. This new Wolfenstein, it kind of picks up, I think, a year after it left off in 1961, and this time you're in the United States. Of course, if you played the original, The New Order, or really just looked at the trailer for this one, you'll notice that in this world, this is a world where the Germans won the Second World War, and then, you know, had their dominion over everybody. And honestly, I love that idea. I thought it's a great idea to set in an alternate universe where the Germans won. But, yeah, the Germans won, and they're in the United States. And so, you know, you get to see stuff like, you know, Uncle Sam, like, perverted into a, I don't know, Nazi symbol or something like that. And I love the pulpiness of that story. It's great, just, like, goofy nonsense, and I just love that. You know, you can kind of probably see in my posters here, I love Nazis as villains. They're pretty great. Like Hans Landa from Inglourious Bastards. They're always just like so chill and suave and just like, you know, great. But at the same time, I kind of feel bad for the everyday, you know, just a normal German or Nazi soldier. You know, be like guy, you know, defending prison, or just like Space Marine on the moon who's just like, hey guys, I'm gonna be here for another month. But yeah, new Wolfenstein looks great, set in the United States, so I hope we get some good old Americana and some Nazi-kana, I guess, as well. And also, if they keep making those absolutely great covers of songs, but just make them like Nazi fight or whatever, like they did for the first Wolfenstein. And if you release it on another vinyl record, I'll buy it again. So, if you want to go back to shooting, stabbing, and strangling Nazis, then definitely take a look at Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus. Coming in at number 4, and this one has been waiting for such a long time. Been waiting forever for this game. I think 5 years since it was announced. But is Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, which I didn't see a release date, but I think it might come out near the end of this year. I really hope so. If anything, at least next year. I've been waiting for that game for such a long time. If you know me, I absolutely love Mount & Blade Warband. It's probably one of the best, like, just open world RPGs to come out in the last probably 20 years or so. Yeah, tons of great stuff. You know, it looks ugly and it's dated, but, you know, it was made by, like, 3 Turks or something like that. You know, absolutely crazy. But yeah, in the new game, it looks better, looks nicer, bigger, badder, more badass, you know, and that sort of stuff. You know, the Siege gameplay looks amazing, you know, the combat looks great. I wish they would have shown some more, like, overworld stuff, like, you know, going to different castles and talking to people and getting quests and stuff like that. I wish they would have shown more of that. But with how it's going now, they're definitely showing off a lot more, so I expect to see a lot more in the future. And if you just love, you know, you love starting from nothing, literally just one guy recruiting like 10 blokes from a village to clear out a camp and then somehow like creating an empire, or, you know, creating several, having vassals and castles and fiefdoms and all this sort of stuff. Definitely take a look at Mount & Blade Warband, and definitely keep your eye on Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord.
And here's patient number 3. See, Margaret, from the way his hands are trembling, the subject's brain is still functioning, in spite of the host and other things. Sometimes regains consciousness in short bouts.
Coming in at number 3 is a game that I've also been waiting a long time for, is Call of Cthulhu, the official video game, or really just call it Call of Cthulhu. For people that don't know, Call of Cthulhu is it's a it still is a tabletop RPG that takes place in the world of H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu myth. In it, the stories are usually like, you know, you play as an investigator and you have to solve some sort of mystery or some conspiracy, deal with cults, and then, you know, with, unfortunately, eldritch creatures and stuff like that. And it definitely plays on a lot of horror, and it plays on insanity and stuff like that. And I really think it's interesting. Some of my favorite genres of horror is definitely cosmic horror, which is, you know, like the horror of something so incomprehensible that it just, you know, destroys the mind. But yeah, no, Call of Cthulhu this time around, it seems to be almost like a direct adaptation of the tabletop game, which is perfect. I love that. The game takes place in Darkwater Island, and you take the place of Detective Edward Pierce, I think. Yeah, his name's definitely Pierce. Basically, almost like all of these Call of Cthulhu games, you know, somebody was murdered and somebody tasked you to figure out what happened. And you go in and you get roped into a conspiracy that's so much more deeper and complex and worse than you could have possibly imagined. And that's what I love about Call of Cthulhu. If you want maybe a taste of this world, there was a game that was released ages ago called Call of Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth. It's honestly not too good. It's okay. One thing it doesn't do well is that, like, the later half of the game just completely just butchers the setting and what you're supposed to do just to become another sort of first-person shooter. But the first part about it, the first part of Dark Corners of the Earth is absolutely amazing, and I would definitely look into it, and hopefully you can enjoy it, because it's got a lot of things that have to do with the mythos, and I hope the new Call of Cthulhu, which I think is finally coming out this year. I think they said they slated for a December release this year. I hope. But keep your eye on it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty damn good.
Hey, you! Stop right there! Come on, come back here!
What do we recommend in this kind of situation, Margaret? Peanut butter song. Yeah, you're making progress, Margaret. But you must keep studying. Mr. Pierce.
Mr. Pierce, can you hear me?
The Mason!
Everything is fine,
Mr.
Mr.
Barbiton,
Pierce.
my
Wait, what the hell am I doing here?
It was just a nightmare.
I was there!
Mr. Pierce, don't
Have
move.
to get back there.
You have to rest.
No, but the dreams, they were real!
Only time can heal
I
your
have
affliction.
to...
Coming in number 2 is the sequel that we've all been waiting for, especially if you're like me, and that is Metro Exodus. Metro Exodus is a game developed by 4A that takes place in the Metro universe of some Russian guy called Dukhovsky. He made a bunch of books, specifically Metro 2033 and Metro 2034, and I think Metro 2035. But those are the books that he developed, and they're really neat books. They're not the most best translated into English, but really neat books. Give them a read. But basically, in this world, it takes place in post-apocalyptic Russia. The nukes launched, all this stuff, and which is interesting because this is how kind of it is in real life. Is that what's supposed to happen is all the people flood into the Moscow metro, which can hold something like 2 million people, I think, at its capacity, something insane like. But basically, in metro, everybody lives in the metro, and sometimes they go up into the hellish surface where they have to wear a gas mask because the air is so irradiated. And they gotta deal with the horrors of the metro, and I guess the top, which are like, strange mutated animals like Nosalises or I forget what they're like, the Howlers, which are kind of like these weird like mutated dog things. And then demons, or as Bourbon would call them, some people call them demons, I call them bitches. But but other things about the metro is that even after the world was destroyed, there's still ideologies. There's still people like the Red Line, which are basically like, a Soviet resurgence, and they're all communists. And then there's the Fourth Reich, which is basically, the Nazis. They're constantly fighting against each other. But yeah, that's basically Metro. You got to deal with both mutants and Soviets and Nazis. And, bandits as well. This time around in Metro, it's called Exodus, and it looks like we're leaving the Moscow behind to go throughout the Russian countryside. The biggest thing that makes me excited about this is that I've read from interviews that they specifically said they're going to meld Metro and Stalker, which Metro and Stalker, if you know me, are one of my favorite games ever. I absolutely love Stalker. If you haven't played Stalker, go play it. It's one of the best post-apocalyptic games of all time. But basically, it seems to have a linear story, but non-linear, open-ended sandbox sections that you got to deal with, which I think is the right way to go about it. I don't want a lot of open-world games. They tend to lose their narrative through opening up and doing things, but with Metro, it seems like they want to keep that narrative tight, but they want to leave sections of the world that are open, which I think is a good idea to go about. I think that game is coming out, I think sometime spring next year. Yeah, definitely be on the lookout for it. If you love Metro, you're probably eyeing it out pretty good. So, be on the lookout, keep on keeping on, and take a look at some Metro Exodus. And the final game, and the game I'm honestly like giddy to my goddamn knees, so excited to play, is The Evil Within 2. If you know me in real life, you know that I'm in this small minority of people that, for just some reason, absolutely love The Evil Within. I think it's a crime that more people didn't play that game, especially people who like horror. And, you know, the people I know in real life, you know who it is. You know the people that don't like that game. You know, because, and your people are stupid. You're dumb. But Evil Within 2, it basically continues the story that actually had a continuation. A lot of problem with people that don't understand why a lot of us, the small minority of people that absolutely love the first one, you gotta play the DLCs to understand what's going on. And the DLCs, they flesh out this world that's so wholly interesting and, you know, basically sets it up to a sequel. But not in a sequel baity sort of way, but more in this story isn't finished and it requires a sequel. I'm not sure how I feel about the idea of Sebastian being roped into another Mobius ordeal. It looks like it's like his daughter Lily wasn't actually killed, just merely kidnapped and put into STEM. STEM, for people you don't know, is basically the thing that gets everybody like connected into the nightmare world in the first game. So yeah, minor spoiler there, but really not really. Yeah, but you know, go play the first game if you haven't played it, because it's pretty good. I know a few people that are replaying it right now, and they're liking it a lot more the second time, which is kind of weird. Like, when it came out, I guess nobody really kind of paid attention to it, but now when people play it either their second time or after all these years, when the dust has settled, they really find that there's a game in there that's quite enjoyable. This time, I hope the gameplay's a bit more varied. I hope they have a few more bosses and they don't reuse them, like in the first one they used the spider lady a few times, even though they were mostly just chases. But I wish they don't reuse it. But goddamn, no, I just absolutely loved the trailer that came out with it. Of course, you know, I played the first little bit here, and then I'll end with it. Goddamn, like, you know, opening up with Duran Duran's like Ordinary World is pretty great, because, you know, like, gotta find the way to get out into gotta find out a way to get out of the nightmare, you know, brainy world and get back to the normal world where he can save his daughter. And yeah, no, I just absolutely loved the first one, thought it was great. It seems this one is going more into like Silent Hill-esque, you know, having to deal like with mental issues and you know, different fears and love and stuff like that I really think it's interesting. The first Evil Within, you know, it kind of starts off being, you know, it's like, oh, okay, I can see how this is like a Resident Evil game, but ends up almost becoming more like a Silent Hill game, where it's really got to deal with the subconscious of people. But yeah, I absolutely love the first one. I can't say how many times I really love that game, and I'm absolutely looking forward to the second one, which is coming out this year. Holy hell, just a few months away from now in October, and Friday the 13th, October 2017, which I think is such a perfect date. That's awesome.
To the ordinary world, I will learn to survive.
Well, now, plane's gone out the window, 'cause the rooftops run away.
So that's it for E3 2017. This year was interesting. It was just okay. You know, there's a few really interesting games, lots of games that really caught my eye. But there was also a lot that I just kind of don't care about. Like I said at the beginning, doesn't mean that they suck, doesn't mean that I hate them. You know, you can absolutely love them if you want. I just don't really think they're that interesting. You know, big one that people keep telling me is like, hey, you like Days Gone? And it's like, another zombie game, who cares? Yeah, but expect a lot of these games that are coming out for me to review. Some games that weren't on the list that were shown at E3 this year, I'm definitely going to review. Didn't put them on the list because, one, so close to after E3, and two, the trailer wasn't really that interesting. Prime of which was Super Danganronpa 3, the new high school killing game, whatever. Absolutely love Danganronpa, and definitely expect to see a review for that. Maybe a review for Shadow of War. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't played the first Shadow of Mordor, so I'll play that during this little period. But yeah, this is Tom the Chosen One. Like I said again, sorry that this video isn't the most, the most theatrical, the most like well-made or recorded or scripted or really anything, because it's just, I'm trying to just throw my ideas out there and people are wondering, hey, what do you think of the games? And well, this is what I think of the games that came out of E3 2017. So I'm Tom the Chosen One. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll actually really napalm Charlie's Village. We got the review for Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. Should be coming soon, maybe in a couple weeks from now. Okay? Thanks guys. Take it easy.